I'll throw an example in as well and stay on the positive train here because I do think at the end of the day, this will all be a net gain for the industry. We were doing real work with a client who had a eureka moment on the revenue side of what could AI do for our business and for the IP we have invested in building. And the exam question was, can we build a multimodal model that will take a piece of content that we've already developed and turn it into a different piece of IP and content that we can then go and use for other commercial purposes. So to make it very specific, we built an animated film. The target for this film is 3 or 4 major Western-oriented countries. The exam question is, would this play in other markets? As we all know, animation is super expensive, so the idea of localizing that content in advance of knowing whether it was going to work, too high a hill to climb, so we're going to build it for our traditional audiences. Well, in this case, let's load the film into a multimodal model and have it create 7 graphic novels of the exact same IP, but now in a graphic novel format. Let's then load it into another model that localizes that content into other geographies and languages, which is a far easier task than doing that with animated content. So now all of a sudden, off of a base piece of IP that I developed with my traditional workflows, I've developed entirely new pieces of IP that I can both generate revenue with in the market. I can use to test the efficacy of my IP in other markets and help to build the case to maybe create this film or localize it with a much higher degree of confidence that it's going to be successful. And if it works, maybe now I'm thinking about doing TV series off of it. Maybe I'm looking at entirely different forms of shoulder content and IP. And I'm fundamentally now rewiring the economics of the business because the revenue upside and the value of a base piece of IP is fundamentally different than it would have been pre-IP. Pre-AI. So if we go back to the discussion we were having about what's going to happen with all the jobs, well, if you got to look at the other side of the coin. If we're using this to fuel our flywheel and build new IP and create new monetization opportunities, we need people out there selling it. We need people out there figuring out all of the work that has to go into having new content and new product out there that we can go build bigger businesses with. Mm-hmm.